If you want to support the channel, check out all the cool links in the description. Dragon Ball, Pokemon, Kaiju, and more. It's Steven's Toy Reviews. Hey, hello there collectors, it's Steven here, and I am back with another Godzilla vs. Kong review for you. I say another because I already got two uploaded for the 6-inch scale figures. You should already check those out. Anyway, today we're going to be taking a look at their giant Godzilla and Kong figures. Now, unfortunately, unlike the Jakks Pacific 12, 13-inch Godzilla figure, I don't have a nice heartwarming story to open the video up with, but yeah, I still think we're going to have the same experience this time around. Anyway, today we're going to be taking a look at what are probably going to be Walmart's big sellers for this line, because we have a giant Godzilla on the shelf last year and again this year, and now we have a companion Kong. Yep, we have Godzilla and Kong on the shelf going at it, so we got to do a double review. Clocking in at 20 bucks a piece, are these two going to be worth it? Total of 40 bucks? Ooh. I don't know about that one. Let's take a look to see whether or not these two goofballs are worth adding into your collection. Now, I went ahead and I did the packaging for these 6-inch scale figures. Let's go ahead and do it now too. Yeah, I don't really think that this should be the reason to or not to get a figure, but hey, now you know what to look for on the store shelf. All right, now I'm recording this, so we're going to give it a couple more seconds here for leeway, and all right, let's get into the reviews of the figures. Let's start with Kong, because everybody loves Godzilla, and I have more to say about Godzilla. All right. So Kong is actually going to be pretty straightforward, and believe it or not, Kong is actually going to be an entirely new sculpt. Yeah, you'd think that maybe they'd just go ahead and reuse the Leonard sculpt again, but they actually didn't do that this time. Yeah, they actually put some effort into tooling a brand new sculpt, so kudos to you, Playmates. Very, very good. But I will say that it actually turned out to be okay. And I do think that this look for Kong is probably going to be truer to what we actually see in the movie. I do think that the eyes are, I don't know, a little off, comparatively speaking, because they do look sort of cartoonish, if you will, compared to, say, the very stern Godzilla, and even the smaller Kong that we have. It almost looks animated in a way. But still, I do think that this Kong does have a nice ferocious look to him, and we even have some nicely masked off paint for the teeth there, which is rather impressive. I wasn't expecting Playmates being able to do that at this price point, so good on you. Now, throughout the majority of the figure, it's going to be pretty straightforward in regards to the paint. The body is actually going to use a very deep, dark brown, and the hands, the skin on the feet, so forth, that's going to be painted black. So good. We actually have a unique mixture of colors here. We have the slash marks on the chest, which don't look uniform. Good. That's probably what slash marks would actually look like. The sculpted fur is great. On the back, we have some screw holes. We have the Kong monkey butt. The only downside I can see here is that we do have the actual assembly seams there, which again, if this falls the right way, I'm more than positive it's going to split right on those seams. But yeah, otherwise, this guy's looking really, really good. So if you're a if you're a fan of Kong, then yeah, this is a great looking Kong figure. Yeah, this actually kind of reminds me of the Playmates Tarzan ape that came out so many years ago. So yeah, if you want an updated version of one of those as well, hey, here you go, buddy. Go ahead and get it. Now Godzilla, and Godzilla is a little bit of a, I don't want to necessarily say mess, but he's a little different. Yeah, so Godzilla is cast in sort of a grayish blue plastic, which is very, very nice. And there is some brown gray dry brushing to really bring out the details. And I think that looks amazing. I really think they did a great job there for this figure. Much like the small 6-inch scale Godzilla, you know, they did use the CGI file to bring out the details here and make it look as accurate as they possibly could. But one of the issues that I do have, and the best way that I can articulate this is to essentially say that the sculpt does look relatively smooth. particularly on the chest. It almost looks like this is a file that hasn't quite finished rendering yet. Sort of in a 1080p world, this almost looks 480, if you will, if that makes any sense. Yeah. So it doesn't quite look like it's there. It's almost like it's out of focus. Yeah, the detailing could definitely be a bit better here for Godzilla, but well, I guess it is going to have to be what it is because it's already on the market. And not much else we can do there. Yeah, but the actual paint detailing on the figure is rather impressive. Again, we do have some browns that are used to bring out the scutes and the scales and so forth. And we do have nicely painted claws and toes, which is always good. And the dorsal plates actually feature a spray with little droplets that go beyond the actual spray to really make the figure look in general nice. So it's an odd effect. Some may call it sloppy, but I think it's interesting. And it's one of those things where, hey, you get points for doing that. Now, normally I would be upset that it does look this sloppy, but considering that we have so many other alternatives for large Godzilla figures on the market, I'm going to have to go and say that, yeah, you're going to get points for this sort of creativity here. Yeah. Now, one of the things that I really wanted to touch on, and I'll go ahead and get it out of the way here, is that some folks are saying that this is nothing but the Jakks Godzilla, but just different. Nope. Not even the case. Here's the side-by-side. You may say, oh, look at it, it's the same. Nope. First and foremost, the size. Different. Now, let's look at it closer. We can see that the Jakks and the Playmates, they have different angles for their heads. Different details in the teeth. We can see that on the Jakks, there is some smoothing of the sculpt, so this way the shoulders can spin around on their swivel joint, where that's not present on the Playmates. We can see that the Playmates has a smoother chest and a thinner chest than the Jakks. Okay, so we have those details there. Now, if we take a look at the legs, we can see that the Playmates actually has posed legs as opposed to just a neutral vanilla pose that the Jakks had. Cool. And the ankles are actually positioned differently on the Playmates than the Jakks. And that's going to be a bit more than just a simple little tweak to the sculpt. That's going to actually have to require a whole brand new mold. So yeah, it's not just the Jakks. It's more than that. Now, moving on to articulation, Kong is effectively just going to have a swivel neck, along with swivel shoulders, swivel wrists, swivel hips, and swivel ankles. Yep, that's about it for good old Kong there. For Godzilla, unfortunately, there's not going to be any jaw hinge, which I think is rather weird, despite the fact that it looks like he can kind of open and close his mouth, but he can't. Yeah, we're going to have limited swivel shoulders, swivel wrists, and actually one of the wrists on my Godzilla was super glued out the gate, so that was fun to loosen up. Swivel hips, swivel ankles, and where the tail plugs in, we're going to have swivel as well. Yep, we're going to have swivel. Not a swivel, but we're going to have swivel. So the articulation, it's serviceable, it works, there's nothing to really write home about there. Now let's go ahead and move on over to a size comparison so you can see how big these dudes are. And realistically speaking, they're giant figures. They're about 11 to 12 inches in size. I don't quite know what you were expecting. So buy now, skip, or wait for a deal. $20 each is a little bit steep, I feel. I think that Kong is the better deal here. Godzilla could use some improving. Now, one thing I just want to say is that I don't think that these two actually go well together. I know that I just got done pretty much saying that earlier, but if you take a look at these two side by side, something just doesn't feel right. It almost looks like Kong is sort of a cartoon character compared to the more well-grounded Godzilla that we have. So I don't quite know what the premise is going to be for the movie. I know there's the leaked synopsis and all that, but still. I don't know. But hey, for what they're meant to be, for what they're supposed to be, and what they're going to do, these go well together. But I would say if you can, trust me, they're going to be on shelves for a while. Wait for a price drop. $30 total for both. I think that's the sweet spot. Well, collectors, that brings us to the end of the video today, and I just wanted to take a second to thank you so much for watching. Now, you've heard a lot from me. I'd like to hear a little bit from you. Drop in the comments down below whether or not you liked it, you hated it, or maybe you were somewhere in between. I also want to take an extra second here for a nice, humongous thank you to all the patrons for SDR over the last month who have really helped the channel grow into what it can be today. So to all of you, 2 big thumbs up. Thank you very much. And now the end card should be popping up, which will give you a few clickable links, like maybe to subscribe or head on over to my Patreon, or some short URLs like to my social media or to my Teespring store. There's also a video I hand selected for you, so if you want to watch another SDR video, I hand selected some good content for you to watch, so definitely check out that video. Thank you again so much for watching, and I'll catch ya in the next video.